Hey guys, welcome to the Rice Ball channel. My name is Ash and this is the Fast FAQ Friday. This is a video series where we answer the more common questions that we get. We'll try to share it from another user point of view so that we can all go through the entire process of learning together. And this week's topic is the differences between the light stand and a tripod. So I'm just gonna keep this episode short so that it's easier for our viewers to find out exactly what information they need to know at a point in time. So what is a light stand? So light stand, this is an example of a light stand. Light stands are designed to hold lighting equipments. So initially I thought that light stand could only hold lights because they're called light stands, but actually no, you can actually hold a big list of items. So some examples are the lights, your continuous lights, your strobes. They are all universal. They use a spigot mount. You can use them in any sorts of way. There are different accessories that go on to the light stands to hold different items. So next, what is a tripod? So a tripod is essentially the same thing. This is a tripod. What it comes with is 3 legs, just like the light stand. It has extendable legs which you can extend individually. Their legs are individually articulated, as well as the center column. Much like the light stand, except the center column does not extend too high. So what's the difference other than the looks? We're going to talk about the purpose, height, weight, legs, payload, mounting options, price. So first up, on the purpose, the light stand is designed to hold lighting equipments, whereas the tripod was designed to hold cameras. Very straightforward, simple. We get into detail in a while why are they designed for each purposes. The height. A light stand can typically reach up to heights that a tripod will never be able to reach. For example, this nano light stand can reach up to a height of 2 meters. Whereas a normal tripod, the maximum height you're going to probably get about chest to eye level. All the sections in where the height comes from are from the legs. Why are they so low? Because the main purpose for a tripod is actually to hold your camera. The weight. Light stands can typically weigh pretty heavy compared to a tripod. Why? They are mainly made of stainless steel, but there are different brands that make them from different materials. Whereas the tripod, they're made of mainly aluminium or carbon fiber. Carbon fiber makes it super light. So for example, size comparison, this nano stand is slightly heavier than this carbon fiber Manfrotto tripod. Next, we talk about the legs. What's the difference between a legs of the light stand and a tripod? The light stand has a hinged leg that is interconnected to each other. You won't be able to change the positioning of the legs or the length of the legs. Compared to a tripod, you can actually do so. They are hinged individually and they do have extendable legs. So what this means is that you can actually adapt the tripod to many different challenging terrains. So for example, you'll never see a landscape photographer that travels and hikes up into the mountainous area use a light stand to hold his camera, which is quite limited in the legs positioning. So the landscape photographer will use the tripod instead. So maybe I do a short demo. So I'm just only going to use one leg for the tripod, and we'll see that it is able to adapt to this tabletop, whereas this light stand, it will just topple down. So for the tripods, they are hinged near the payload. That's where the camera is going to be, whereas the light stand, they're hinged all the way at the bottom near the base. So what happens is this pyramid is actually a lot shorter, whereas the payload is all the way up further. When you extend the center column, it is going to sway. That is where most of the movement is going to come from, the center column itself. Whereas this guy, the center column is just here. So having the hinge up here will make the pyramid design a lot more stable. As you can see, it's barely even moving. Okay, next we talk about payload. So what is the payload? Payload is basically the weight limit of the particular equipment. So for example, this light stand can take up to a payload of 2.5 kg, whereas this tripod can take a payload of up to 10 kg. So there are significant difference between these two. However, there are more sturdier light stand than this guy here. This is a nano stand. It is actually designed to smaller size compared to a normal light stand, which is probably going to be about this length. So when you talk about convenience, the nano stand is going to be a lot smaller than a normal light stand. So next up is mounting options. Mounting options, we are super lucky that most camera equipment, they are using a 1/4 or a 3/8 screw thread. What this means is that all the camera equipment are universal and we are able to adapt it for many different purposes. So for example, I can mount a microphone onto a boom pole, but the boom pole is not the normal microphone boom pole, it's actually for a light. This boom pole is actually using a 1/4 screw thread, which is found on a spigot, and that is the third more common mounting option that you can find in most shops. So a spigot, you can use it on many different equipments. For example, the screw thread that we talked about earlier, or you can even use it on most lightings. Most lighting, they will use actually a spigot mount, so it's just a huge cylinder with a screw mount at the side. Alternatively, if you find that your female screw hole is too big, for example, the male screw mount that I have on this light stand is a 1/4 screw thread. My ball head may not be a 1/4 screw thread, it may be a 3/8 screw thread. So what happens is I can use one of these 1/4 to 3/8 adapter, which is a female 1/4 to a male 3/8. So just screw that on. Instantly, this guy becomes a 3/8. Okay, next up, space used. Light stand generally takes up lesser space. So for example, this guy has a fixed length of about 90 cm wide. The legs are very thin, it can slide under most cable. So you can get the light that is mounted on this light stand as close as you want to the subject. Whereas the tripod has a bigger base, you have to adapt it to the tabletop, for example. And lastly, price. So what's the price difference you're looking at between a light stand and a tripod? Okay, let's use an apple-to-apple comparison. We talk about the payload. So the price for a 5 kg payload light stand will cost you probably about 35 USD, which is about $50 in Singapore dollars. Compared to a tripod, a 5 kg payload may cost you upwards from $100. It depends on the brand and material as well as the different features that comes with it. So for example, if you get a carbon fiber tripod, it's going to cost you from $200 onwards. And that's it for this week's video. Is it small enough for you to consume? Easy enough for you to understand? What do you think could be improved next? What are the other topics that you would like us to talk about? Leave a comment down below, like us and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and we'll see you next week.